Hello, everybody. I'm so excited. Woo-hoo. I haven't been on live in so long, it feels weird, but I'm
Ah,
ready. All right, if you
yes.
haven't seen me before, my name is Ash, and I'm sorry about your luck because I really stink, so you don't know who I am. But we are here today with our new show, Out of Pocket. We had a ladies show during this season, and we kind of wanted to extend that show into the off season, so we kind of came with like a spin-off version essentially of that show. So we are super excited. I'm gonna have you, Nicole, introduce yourself so that people know who you are.
My name's Nicole, and you might recognize me from the famous show or shows such as NFC South Takeover with Sean Spencer and Kyle Yacy and Andrew Fulbert. And then there's the ladies show where I met Ash, and we talk about some womanly stuff on there with Delilah.
That sounds so like not football related.
I mean, we talk football stuff coming from woman. No. And then it was Kate. So from there, and now rebirth and new growth of a new out of pockets where you take everything out of your pockets and you lay it down on how you feel. Right?
Oh, Jesus. There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. Tina is having technical difficulties, but she is working on it. So whenever she gets back, we'll hop her back on here. Um, Really quickly, the comments. We have our regular
Yeah.
first. I'm pretty sure Kyle, you weren't first. Dang it. Sydney beat you on YouTube. So hyped. I'm so hyped. We've been trying to do this for a long time and I keep
Industry.
pushing it off, but here we are. We like the music. Sick. Calm music. Ain't that. Ah, come on. I'm calm. Super calm all the time. Look at Sean. So hype. Sean is the best hype man. If you didn't know, did I get dolled up? I don't even know how to do that if I tried. I look like this all the time. I don't know what that means or who that is. What are you done? I think it's Kyle, and I don't know what
Yes.
you're talking
Yeah.
about. So if you want to clarify on what you're even talking about, love the definition. But Nicole always has the best. All right, Tina is back. Let's see if we got audio.
We got
Yes.
audio.
Yes,
Yes.
it wouldn't be a show with me if there wasn't something that went wrong within the first 5 seconds. So here we are. Anyway, if you want to introduce yourself now that you're here with us.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tina. You know me as the ever loving Bronco fan on this group. I'm sitting here from lovely Chicago and ready to talk some football with these lovely ladies. So,
I know, I'm super pumped. So there's not a lot that has happened in like the last week or so, but we haven't been on live since the season ended. So I have a lot of opinions and things to talk about.
Yes.
So first we're just gonna talk about major off-season moves that have happened already, like who's been signed, who's been traded, who's still out there waiting to be picked up. He said doggone Broncos. Hey, I don't. The only thing that I have against the Broncos is the amount of times that they felt necessary to put them on primetime television last year. That is my only thing I can say about them. It's not great.
try being a Bronco fan and having to live through that humiliation. So,
So bad. So bad. It was like, here we go again with
yeah,
these
yeah.
pain. My brother-in-law is a big Broncos fan, so I
Yeah.
have to listen to him too.
Like I said, I already like him.
I'm sorry. Who was last in the division and who will continue to be last in the division again this year? Okay, bye. Yeah, the Falcons defense is stacked. I don't know that it matters because you're still the
Thanks to
Falcons.
maybe
but
perhaps a little bit of us being nice
yeah, you
with
should
our
never be
neighbors.
nice. Never be nice within the division. That's just not a good thing. All right, moving on. We're gonna start with. I would love to trash on Washington and the Falcons all day. But we're going to move on to quarterbacks that have been signed or traded recently. So the first one that got paid, oh geez, I'm not even going to show that comment. The first one that got paid was Geno Smith. I was actually not surprised at this one.
No.
I don't know what, because he balled out, which I think is crazy for like a quarterback that's been very mid and not great to then go to a new team and like ball out.
Yeah.
Especially since no one wants Drew Lock to be their actual quarterback. So
No.
might as
Well,
well.
when they got Drew Lock, I was like, that's the guy. Drew Lock's it. Like, you don't play Geno or Drew Lock. Like, what the heck? And then they came out and they're like, Geno Smith's the starter. And I'm like, what? Like, what is Pete Carroll? Is he losing his mind over there? And then turns out that Geno Smith is a good quarterback.
He's been in the game for a while. I found out he was drafted 39th in 2013.
And did nothing since then until last year.
Wow.
Not normally how quarterbacks go, I feel like.
I was surprising, yeah.
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 Well, I was surprised. He balled out. He did what he was supposed to do. He managed the ball, and he did what Carroll wanted him to do. So, I mean, what are they going to do? Like I said, they're not going to make Drew Lock. They're going to maybe draft someone this year to maybe try and develop. But I mean, the guy did what he was. He was. I already said it. The guy did what he was supposed to do. So he was going to get his extension. He was going to get paid. So. Yeah.
The only thing I was surprised by was that he got 3 years. I thought he would like max get 2, but I'm sure the way his contract is designed, it doesn't matter. Because
I'm sure it's probably backloaded, like we'll talk about later. So
perhaps a lie. It doesn't matter. All right. Moving on. We're gonna go to one that is in my division. Kenneth Walker's a beast, but yeah, I agree with that too. When you have a good running back that can kind of make your life easier, that is always very helpful. Next one in my division that got paid that I was actually again not entirely surprised by, just because he also had a pretty good year, is Daniel Jones. I love the fact that the Giants paid him because I think he stinks, but he had a decent year and he played with absolutely nobody. I think a lot of that has to do with their coach. And their coach, I thought, actually, when they got a new coach, that they were going to part ways with Danny Dimes because new coaches like to get their own guy. But then after seeing the year Daniel Jones had with nobody, because they don't have anybody at wide receiver, and they had so many injuries, even at tight everywhere, and he still balled out. So they paid Daniel Jones. I love that for me and the Cowboys because he can't beat us. So pay him away.
Well, he's also one that, at the end, he probably was a bit over his head. But he showed them through the year that, look, give me a shot, give me a chance. Did he get overpaid? Probably. But we don't know. Brian DeBoll, he seems to like him. They seem to think that they can work with him. So kind of like with Trevor Lawrence and some of the others, which Trevor has more talent. I will admit that. Sometimes it's a year-by-year thing. And I mentioned this on another show. Daniel Jones never really had consistent coaching.
Not at all.
Before DeBoll. I mean, everybody talks about Pat Schumer and his amazing offense that he comes up with. That thing is ducking complicated. Like, rookie quarterbacks can't run that system very well. So I'm not surprised he did horrible in that system. Pat Schumer, they came over to us, and Bridgewater had no clue what to do with it. And half the people didn't know. So I say he got his money. Now it's his chance to prove that he actually deserved the money. So,
yeah, he's a young player. I mean, 2019, he was drafted, and so I still think I thought it might have been a fluke because I've never heard of this guy before. But other than the playoffs, and I think because of that, just even that might have even enticed it more to tip that over. But We'll see what he has to say, I guess, next year, and if he's still Dr. Jones.
Or Danny Dimes.
Yeah.
Or as Saquon Barkley calls him, Vanilla Vic, because that man's got some legs on him. That is my favorite nickname ever. It feels wrong, but Saquon gave it to him. I love that they paid him. That means most likely he did not get paid because he went 1-0. I still am mad that you guys tied that game. Like you couldn't even win it. Couldn't win or lose. Just ties in the NFL are unacceptable.
I'm looking at people's drafts, like all of these QBs, and he was drafted 6th overall.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting to even see the where these guys, they're still on free agency and like where they started out as, because we are coming up with the draft.
Have a like who else was in that draft class? Like what other quarterbacks? Anyone know?
Who's Googling?
2019.
2000. Kyler Murray.
Okay.
Oh.
They went Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray.
He was the only. So Daniel Jones was the second quarterback behind Kyler Murray.
So that's probably why he got upfronted.
Was there not? Oh, my boy TJ Hawkinson got drafted this. Okay, now I'm going too deep into this draft. Was there not another quarterback at all in this draft besides those? Oh, I remember this draft because N'Keal Harry got picked by the Patriots with the 32nd pick, and Sydney was so mad because he's an ASU boy and he does not like the Patriots, but then he stinks anyway. So, oh, this was Noah Fant. We had solid tight ends come out of this draft.
It was a really good tight end draft that year. I had such high hopes for Fant. They just didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah, I love him because I love tight ends.
I still like him. I hope he does well at in Seattle. His family used to come into the Oak and watch the games.
Aww.
And it was like we were always like, who is that? And we figured out who it was, and then nobody would talk about it because we knew they were coming to enjoy the games, not to be inundated with, oh my God, you're Noah
Fans. Yeah, that's so great. That's two tight ends, like two solid tight ends that came from Iowa in the draft. Boom, boom. Look at them. Yeah. Love that for us. Anyway, but yeah, Daniel Jones, love that. Speaking of Baker Mayfield also. There is a bug in my face. Baker Mayfield also went to the Buccaneers, which I was surprised by, I guess. But the Bucs need a quarterback.
He's got the short end of the stick. I think the Browns let go of him way too soon. They fell into pressure from the fans and from the media to get rid of him when they didn't really need to. But then again, they also picked up Watson, so they couldn't afford him too. And so I hope he's got some skilled players in Tampa. So let's see what he can do. If he can't play well in Tampa with the players he's got there, then just go into your car and drive away into the sunset.
I do like Baker. I think he gets a lot of hate, unnecessary hate. The Browns are a joke of an organization, so no shock there that they treated him like crap. I think everyone hyped Baker up way too much, and then he didn't meet those like super high expectations. So now everyone has a really bad feeling about him. But
the year before, he was actually showing good growth.
Yeah.
Kind of like Josh Allen was showing at the Bills. And then the next year it's like, oh, well, we can get Watson. Let's take Watson. And
it was the commercials that ruined him, Sean. The commercials got everyone so hyped about him. And then they're like, everyone knew who he was. And then he didn't do great things because he played for the Browns.
Commercial.
I got to see him. I got introduced to him because of the Carolina Panthers in our div. So I was meeting him for the first time for my eyes with the Carolina Panthers. And he moved on quite quick. And now he's moving on again. So he's a quick.
You just can't get away from him though. You're gonna see him again.
Carolina Panthers are shot with the Rams.
Yeah, man, he came out with the Rams and balled out too after being there for like 5 seconds. So That was wild. I think Baker would be like a good backup somewhere, not Washington. Don't you? You guys have. That's another one. Who did you guys sign? Brissett. You have a backup. Get out of here. You have actually like 3 backups, but that's fine. You need a starter, is what you should be looking for. Baker played injured and got shit on. Yeah, that is also true. Yeah. I think a lot of Baker's problems were out of Baker's hands.
I also think they may not have known what to do with him because he's built like a tight end or a defensive lineman, not necessarily a quarterback. He's along the same lines as Ben Roethlisberger. I'm trying not to say my nickname for him. But those the big boys, but unlike Roethlisberger, Baker could actually run. So I don't know. I think I agree. He got the short end of the stick in Cleveland. So.
Yeah, it's too bad. I don't think he's bad. And the Bucs have Kyle Trask right now, which like you don't know how that is, and so they're really probably just trying to figure something out, having a good QB competition over there to see who can.
I'm just trying to hope that he doesn't have a baker's dozen over there in Tampa Bay.
I do think Tampa Bay is the worst team in your division, so at least you guys have that going for you.
Let those turnovers come. I'm not kidding. Sorry.
Oh gosh. Ben DiNucci over Baker. Don't be talking about the MVP of the XFL on here. Leave my mans alone. Sam Howell. Yeah, ride that Sam Howell train. Let's go. Nicole always has the craziest things to say. That is facts. Baker's dozen of turnovers. It's a thing now.
Okay.
Someone's got to take over the turnover crown. Where Dak's giving it away, and it can go to Baker. That's fine.
It can be anyone's in the NFC South.
I think it's Russ's right now.
It was Dak's. Derek Carr also had a lot of
Derek Carr
turnovers too, which segmented right into that. Look at that. Look at me with the transition. How do we feel about Derek Carr going to the Saints? Sydney, don't comment because I know you're about to say I called him going to the Saints before anybody did, and I'm gonna have to listen to that again.
Yes, and yes.
You're happy about it? I actually really like it. I think it's a good spot for him. I was trying to get Derek Carr to the Jets real bad, but then when I realized that they wanted somebody else that I'm not going to talk about,
later.
Why things? Wow, that was aggressive.
I only think the only reason why he finally decided to come to us is because while playing our defense, he got 0. Simpleton. Just, no. I don't know. I didn't like him because of that fact. And now I'm like, okay, but he scored 0 against us, but I'm going to welcome him and bring him in.
He said that defense is so good that I'm going to go over there.
And then everyone left. No,
because I won't have to score because the defense is going to hold their own. So it's fine.
I don't know. Everyone...
I'm happy he's out of the division because he seemed to have our number every game we played. So I've always liked Carr. I've actually thought he got a lot of shit, and I don't know that the Raiders actually fully supported him all the way through. Just having Max and just having Devontae is not enough. It wasn't enough for them. So go somewhere else. Get away from the crazy man that's now the coach of the Raiders.
Yeah. The Raiders did him dirty too. Like the fact that he was like, no, you guys need to pay me and just let me go. And then I'll decide where I want to go instead of like letting them trade him and get anything for him. Yeah. And they tried to trade him with the Saints. And he's like, no, I'm not doing it. And then he goes to the Saints anyway. It was like the biggest FU to the Raiders. And I absolutely live for it because the way the Raiders treated him at the end there was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, just like dropping him. Like not getting trade or anything and just dropping him. So he was like, what was it? Like 24 hours before the deadline where he was going to get paid. Yeah. I have a lot of thoughts on the Raiders.
I'm
None of
sure.
them are good.
The Raiders are a joke of an organization right now. They're just a hot mess. You got to be excited as a Saints fan, though. I think that you guys are either the best or second best team in your division right now, the way it stands. Because that division, I'm sorry, is like the weakest division in the NFL right now, in my opinion. I know the Falcons have like bolstered their defense, but they still don't have a quarterback, and Kyle Pitts is trash.
Yes.
So their offense is just not my favorite. And then I think the Bucks, not good. I think their coaching situation is not the best either. They looked really bad this past year, even though they won the division. And then the Panthers have been signing a bunch of people, and I'm sure they'll get a quarterback, so that'll be good for them. And then the Saints with Carr, I think that was a good move for the Saints. I'm excited. I really hope
for sure.
I really hope Derek Carr does a good job, because I think he gets a lot of hate, unnecessary hate, and
he has all of the food and all of the water and all of, like, he has like the coach, that like it has tried to like come on over, and who's been there and like settled the ground first, and like thatched the lawn for him. And then he's like, look, these are these plants. It's amazing over here. So I don't know. I think, and then Jamal Williams, thank you, Detroit. Thank you, Detroit. But I mean, I hope that doesn't hinder Taysom Hill's special ability to come in there once in a while, because with him and Jamal Williams, because they used to play in college together, I hope that they can work it out and be best friends.
Yeah, I didn't know they played in college together. That's interesting. Taysom Hill is the weirdest player to me in the NFL. That man is like 5 positions, and it's amazing. And you guys really love Taysom Hill over there. Like,
he's like Optimus Prime.
Yeah, seriously.
But I hope it doesn't hinder him, and that's what I'm worried about too. Is like, I'm happy for Derek Carr, but I also like I am riding a little bit with Taysom Hill, and I'm like, don't hinder him. But that's just all.
Hello, Scott. I missed your comment earlier, so I was bringing it up there. He said the guy show is pissing him off. I mean, that's a guy show for you, so it's probably not as good as us, understandably. So I'd leave there too. But we saying how Josh Jacobs to under 100 yards when you played the Saints. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't pay attention to that, because that's 2 really bad teams playing each other last year. So Josh Jacobs balled out though. So if y'all held him, that doesn't matter. That literally doesn't make them any better. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Even
me, a notorious Brady hater. No, he's not.
Derek Carr for life. There we go. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what the Saints can do. That division's absolutely terrible. So he has a good chance of balling out and doing a good job. The last quarterback that I'm going to talk about we'll talk about different I know we didn't get to the big ones yet. We'll get to them at the end, because I don't really like to think about them. I have a system, kind of. Not a good one, but it's up here. Is Jimmy Garoppolo, the hottest player in the NFL, signed with the Raiders? Speaking of, there will not be prizes. Which I'm not surprised about. I thought he was either going to go to the Jets or the Raiders, one of these teams that needed a quarterback.
He was never going to the Jets.
I wanted him to go to the Jets. I wanted every quarterback to go to the Jets, except for the one that's maybe going there.
He was never going to the Jets, because remember, Jimmy Garoppolo came out of Josh McDaniels' system in the Patriots. And now Josh is able
that would have been hilarious.
Josh McDaniels, or as I call him, McDumdum, is bringing all the people he had, because he's kind of gone like, oh, well, I can't get the people that are here to work for me because I'm a dick and I pissed everybody off and my
absolutely
my team, everyone. So now I'm going to bring in my people I used to have that will do what I want them to do. So plus also Jamie got paid.
Yeah,
I mean,
for like 4 years, right?
yeah, he
Which
got
I'm also surprised he got anything more than like a year or two. But I mean, I don't know.
the
Jimmy
Raiders.
Garoppolo's
It's a dysfunctional system.
yeah.
And
I don't see that being
honestly,
successful.
they traded Megatron 1 and not Megatron, but like 1 and 2 versions of each other. Jimmy G and Derek Carr are essentially the same quarterback.
Yeah. I'd put Derek Carr a little above Jimmy G, but essentially you really didn't upgrade at all.
Yeah.
And
Jimmy
He's
at
still
least
coming
helped
off
them
a
get
little
to
bit of an
Super
injury
Bowl
too,
one
right?
year, so I'd give him a little more. But yeah,
Jimmy Garoppolo's always coming off an injury, though. That's part of the problem,
Yeah.
which is also another reason that I'm surprised he got 4 years, because the man has always got something going on.
because
But
I think
the 49ers
McDaniels-
are just kind of cursed at quarterback, I think, though, when it comes
Yeah.
to like the injury bug. Just in general, the 49ers are always hurt. So
I'm positive McDaniels is the one that was like, sign him, give him what he wants. I want him. He's worked with me. I know how to deal with him. He'll do what I want him to do.
yeah.
And it's all of that. I mean,
You should go back to the boys show with comments like that. I'm just kidding. I'm not that mean.
McDumdum.
McDumdum.
I
I
have
like
been
it's
calling him Josh my polite way is Josh McDumdum.
Yeah.
My
I'm a-
nasty way is Josh McDumdum duck face.
love that for him. Yeah, I don't see that being very successful though. But
No,
well,
there's stories upon stories of his time at Denver, and he's doing the exact same stuff he was doing in Denver that he's doing in the Raiders at the Raiders. And I'm sorry, that team is, I don't see it being good, but
that's
if he
good
pulls
for
it
you,
out
though.
with his, if McDaniels is able to turn that team around, then he'll be there for years. Because the family, I can't.
Yeah.
The name is, I want to call him the Amish boy.
All these names.
I have so many nicknames for people. It's not even funny. He just remember the guy from, oh God, what's the Dude movie
I'm
with
not
the
gonna know.
Amish bowler. That's all I see with the owner of the Raiders is with the bowl cut and everything.
Yes.
Went off on a tangent.
That's amazing. We're gonna move on to running backs. And speaking of still the Raiders, because we're apparently obsessed with them. They franchise tagged Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, I at the beginning of the year said that he was gonna have a terrible year. This man is not as good as everyone says he is, and I was high on Josh Jacobs for like 2 years before I finally decided, you know what, I'm giving up on this man. I'm not doing it anymore. And then he had the best year out of any running back this year. He balled out.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised they franchise tagged him. I feel terrible for the man though. When he got franchise tagged, I was like, oh no, let this man free. Let this man go somewhere else, please. This poor guy. But he's stuck there. So
That's what happens when you have a breakout year. You're gonna get franchise tagged.
No, I was really hoping someone would pay him and they'd let him go, but nope, they're like,
He's
"We're gonna keep
holding
ya."
the whole franchise on his back and trudging
Seriously.
along.
Seriously.
I will take it all.
Yeah. Now he was
Poor guy.
exclusive tagged, right? So he couldn't talk to
Um,
anybody. I think he
yeah, I
was.
don't think so. Yeah, I think he was too. I'm not 100% sure. But I just feel bad for him that he has to be there. Mark Davis, there you go.
There, yes.
The
No,
Raiders
I didn't
were
know.
in Oklahoma, though, right?
What?
Oakland,
Oakland.
not
Oakland.
Oklahoma.
Okay.
The Cali team.
Sorry, that's why I ask.
You got the Oak part right.
yeah.
Their
Yeah.
stadium in Vegas is sick too. I want to go to a game really bad.
Yeah.
He'll be good.
Oakland.
2 years, though, I think that team needs to work out some things. And, if he can stick it out there for maybe another 3 years, then I think there could be some development in the future. But
Right.
I have no faith for anybody over there.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad. Anyway, another running back that got franchise tagged is Saquon Barkley. which I figured when they tagged him, they were paying Jones, so that was kind of how that was going to shake out and that was going to work out. Barkley, again, another one, I was like ready to be like, I'm done with this man. Like, I'm not going to keep saying he's good. And then this dude's been riddled with injuries for the entirety of his NFL career. And then he balled out. Like, he did so good. So it's annoying. I wish he would go somewhere else.
He was essentially carrying that team.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's the thing. When you sit there and you put everything on your running back and he's your main source of your offense, he's going to get injured. It's going to happen. You're just going to wear him down. And so I'm not surprised he's had some injury issues, but that's on the Giants. Now they have two of their major pieces in place with the quarterback and with the running back. Now they got to look and see what else they can do. So, and how they can start bringing in either train their people better to make the next step up or start looking at other things. So I was happy to see Saquon.
I really like Saquon. I wish he would leave the division because I don't want any talented players in my division. Saquon's great though. He's fun to watch. He's super talented, like crazy athletic. So it's good for the Giants, I think. A lot of people are talking about letting him go. And I was like, why would you want that? As a Giants fan, you don't have anybody else. No. I mean, you signed a lot of like mid receivers, but other than that, that is your offense.
Giants, I don't take them for a running team as much, but
because
I think they're good.
They've all pretty much had a lot of really good wide receivers. They were more of a
with like OBJ.
Yep. So, but a lot of their receivers now, even though my alma mater, one of their receivers is from my alma mater and I love him to death. He's a B receiver. He's not gonna, in that division that you're in with the defenses that are there, you need A receivers. So maybe the Giants have decided that they're not going to do that anymore and they're going to go more towards more run heavy and center everything around Saquon with dinks and dunks and different.
Yeah, and I think Daniel Jones is running a lot. Barkley's obviously running, so that opens up a lot because you're watching Daniel Jones make sure he's not running, and you got Saquon Barkley who can also run. Like it's the same thing with like the Eagles. You got Jalen Hurts with his legs, and then you had Miles Sanders and Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell, all those different guys that can run the ball. So it's good to have a running quarterback paired with a really solid running back. Because that's dangerous. They have very mid wide receivers, but when you are so good on your legs, you can get away with it, I think, a little bit. But
and then
kind of like the Richie J. Exactly.
Yeah. And kind of talking with the wide receivers and everything, the one thing I kind of noticed, and I was seeing a lot of the pundits have been talking about this, is that there's a lot of high caliber wide receivers still available in free agency. And we haven't talked about OBJ. We haven't talked about Watkins. We haven't talked about some of these guys. And from what I'm seeing, and I think it's true, is I think the teams are going to wait until the draft because there's some good wide receivers in this draft and they might be able to get a cheaper replacement through the draft and then see what they can pick up after the draft, which free agents always want to get their contracts before the draft, because once the draft happens, part of your power, your position to get a high contract goes away because they've already got somebody that they think that they can bring in for cheaper. So unless somebody doesn't get that wide receiver they need, then they'll go talk to these guys and be like, okay, now let's talk. Let's talk about what's going on. So it's just unusual. All of these really good wide receivers are still out there in free agency and they're not getting bites at all from what we know. So, well, I think right now across the board, a lot of the teams are not really doing anything in free agency because they're gearing up for the draft.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I don't see any like majorly big signings or really any signings at all happening until like at least like right before the draft when you might see like
Or
trades start happening
during the draft,
or during.
somebody's under
I love
contract.
trades during the draft, like
Yeah,
AJ Brown.
like,
That
And
will
I
hurt
mean,
me
you
last
this
year.
guy, we get
coming from like a person who's just like, if I was a wide receiver and I know that like there's other wide receivers coming up the draft and like, hey, what's my highlight reel? Like, I feel like it's a lot shininess with a lot of the rookie, wide receivers coming up in college for seeing their reels comparatively to seeing maybe some of the wide receivers that are already, in under free agency and being like, well, I only play in the NFL and you saw what I got.
Yeah, I'm proven. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
definitely upsides to going with guys that are proven instead of like taking a swing in the draft and missing. I think with wide receivers, it's
Or
not as
are
risky
some of
to take
these-
a swing, but
or some of these guys that are still around have been playing for a while, and it might just be that they want more money than what teams are willing to give for
Mhm.
somebody that may only be a year or 2-year contract. So
exactly.
it's sometimes you got to hang the cleats up
Yeah.
yourself, not have someone
Like-
make you hang your cleats up.
Humble yourself and realize what you're actually worth at this point in
Yep.
your career type
Yep.
thing. But I know that the Giants signed, they re-signed Darius Slayton, they re-signed Sterling Shepard, and they picked up Campbell. So they have a few guys. They're just very mid. They're not great. Sean, actually remember that Washington trading with the Saints during the draft because you were in New Orleans, weren't you? I think he was when they traded.
Yes,
was
he always
exciting.
brings it up.
Chris Olave is amazing. He's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on. Who do I have next? Another running back that was franchise tagged. We got a lot of franchise tagged running backs up in here. Was Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard was franchise tagged by us, and in return, Zeke was let go. I'm not mad at it, especially I was worried we were going to pay him coming off an injury, and then I was not going to be very happy about that because you don't know what it's going to look like after the injury. I know it's just like an ankle thing, so it's probably not that. He'll probably be fine. Didn't like tear his ACL or anything wild like that, but I like Tony Pollard. I think he's explosive. He's not an every down back. I really like big running backs like the Zeke, Derrick Henry, like big guys, Najee type running backs that are like pounding it down the middle. So I like Pollard, but I think Pollard needs to be paired with a bigger guy, not Rojo, because I'm waiting for Sydney to come in here and be like, you got Zeke's replacement, Rojo, and I'm not going to listen to that. So don't even, I know you're typing. Because we also signed him too, but that doesn't mean anything. It's just depth. But I'm not surprised that we tagged Tony Pollard, especially after the year he had. He did really good.
Yeah.
Which is exciting.
It reminds me. It reminds me.
Oh, God.
It reminds me of pollarding, which is the pruning system involving the removal of the upper branches of a tree, which promotes the growth of a dense head and foliage and branches and promotes the tree to still continue to grow.
Are you reading that off of Webster?
She's got
I think promotes growth. That's what my point is.
It fits.
I am not gonna lie. I think I hold my breath every time Nicole talks. I'm like, what is she gonna say? This is gonna be good. Like I am like, what is she gonna? I am all ears. Sure, we can draft Bijan Robinson. The Cowboys are gonna draft Bijan Robinson, and Tony Pollard is gonna make him grow into the best running back that the NFL has ever seen. That is what's happening.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is he big? Can he stiff arm a guy?
If you weren't the Cowboys.
Can he stiff arm and hurdle somebody at the same time? I need like a Zeke rookie year in my life. Philosophizer Nicole promotes growth. Oh, it's amazing.
It's just what Google said when I researched him.
I don't think that. I think you made that up.
No.
I'm
Pilarden.
gonna stay and move.
Pilarden.
I'm gonna move on from this and stay.
We're gonna go
in-
out on a limb.
Oh.
That's a good one. We're gonna have one episode and then we're never gonna be allowed to come back on again because this is a mess. I'm gonna stay with the division and move on to Miles Sanders / we'll go like Rashad Penny because Rashad Penny is now with the Eagles and Miles Sanders is now with the Carolina Panthers. I was surprised that the Eagles let Miles Sanders go. I like Miles Sanders. I don't think he's that good. I think we're gonna see how not good he is at the Panthers. I think he was absolutely terrible in the games that Jalen Hurts didn't play. I think Miles Sanders is a product of Jalen Hurts' ability to run the ball. And I don't think he's gonna be that good anywhere else, but we will see. And then Rashad Penny. I think Rashad Penny's great if he can stay healthy. Went to the Eagles on a 1-year deal. They have a lot of running backs over there, and I've seen a lot of stuff in the mock drafts about them getting Bijan Robinson, and it doesn't make sense to me, and I won't allow it to happen. So it's either the Cowboys are getting Bijan Robinson or he's not going to our division. But that's my thoughts on that one.
Wow, there's some good guys.
They're good. I just don't think Miles Sanders is that good. I tried to say he was good, and then he played like doo-doo at the end of the season. You guys want to see what does that? Why? I don't understand. Because I just murdered Miles. Oh, sorry. I don't think he's that great. Get off of me. Anyway, we kind of talked about this one already, but Jamal Williams went to the Saints. I think Jamal Williams is like the greatest character in the NFL. He is hilarious with his little Pikachu hat and talking nonsense in press conferences. I think that's a
Yes.
good move for the Saints. What is happening with Alvin Kamara? Is he playing? Is he in trouble?
He's still like free, he's free agency, and he's on the like, hey, these are one of our guns of like the offense, watch out. He's gonna be with Derek Carr and stuff, but I think they are still pretty laying low because of the like, and I don't know, I guess does the trial matter still quite a bit for like if he will be able to play. And I just keep saying that. I've been saying that almost like for a half a year now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird. I feel like a broken record.
It's been a year because it happened at the Pro Bowl last year.
Mm-hmm.
And they said like, okay, he's gonna play this year because the trial isn't until after the season and blah blah blah. And I mean, there's some like gnarly video footage of things that happen. So I'm like, he's got to be in some like serious trouble, no? But like then I see nothing about it. So I'm like, what is happening? Is he playing? Is he not playing?
Yeah, I think
I guess good signing for Jamal Williams in case he can't play.
Yeah. Well, and we got Rashid Shaheed. I'm excited more so for him and Olave. Like, come gather, my friends.
Look at this offense. And then you guys still got Michael Thomas for a year. Is that fool actually going to play, or is he going to cry about something else?
I'm not putting any eggs in that Easter basket.
I would not either. That is the biggest like fall from fame, I swear. Like that man was so good and then he wasn't. So it's really embarrassing for him. Who else for running backs? Oh, David Montgomery. How do you feel about David Montgomery leaving? Good? No? Don't care?
I'm not a Bear fan.
Indifferent. No one cares that David Montgomery left. Okay, me either. I think David Montgomery is pretty good.
I do think he is really good. So
I was not surprised that I feel like the Bears let everybody go. So I was surprised he won the division a little bit, but all right.
Yeah. I mean,
It always
that'll
shocks
be
me when people go within the division. There's a lot of talk about Zeke going to the Eagles, and I swear I will die. I will not be okay. But it's Easter. It's Passover today,
She'll be
actually.
resurrected and it won't matter. So
It's actually Passover, but you should know that of all people. All right, we're gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna go real quick through
Mm.
the rest,
Speed
like
round.
wide receivers, tight ends. Juju went to the Patriots, which is interesting because I have a thing about that later. Thielen got signed. Lazard looks like bait for somebody else, even though they said he wasn't. It really looks like it. The Jacoby Myers Juju thing was funny to me because Juju got paid exactly what like Jacoby Myers would have gotten paid. So it's Jacoby was like, why don't you just keep me then? But those are not better. We talked about this a little bit earlier when we weren't live that Dalton Schultz signed with Houston, which I was surprised he didn't go somewhere else for a longer amount of time. But we were talking about this earlier, like these little short back loaded deals where players get like one more year to show like, no, I'm good, and then they can really get paid. So I thought that was interesting. We'll talk about defensive players at a different time because otherwise we'll be here all day. The biggest, like, one of the really shocking things for tight ends to me was Foster Moreau. You guys remember when that came out? He was with the Saints, no? He was visiting the Saints and got like all these evals done and then found out he had cancer. But I'm like, that's insanity. I was really looking forward to see where he went, but like, thank God that he's in the position where he is being evaluated by doctors and such at this caliber, and they were able to catch that because that's insane.
Yeah, lymphoma.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
Hopefully he recovers and can come back. I don't know what that looks like for him, but that was crazy. I really like him. I thought he was really good last year when Waller, that's another big one, went to the Giants. That's another, I guess, upgrade for them on offense. Speaking of them, that was also shocking to me.
Another Raider player fleeing from McDaniels, like
running. That's what I'm saying. They all ran, and Josh Jacobs is like, somebody save me. So bad. Alrighty. We're going to get into how we feel our teams specifically have done in free agency offseason so far. I will let you go, Nicole. We've kind of already talked about some of the people you've gotten, but how are you feeling going into the draft?
I'm feeling great. Ash. What I can say from over here is that we got a destination and a plan and a plane called Dennis Allen. So we are calling all flight attendants, including Cam Jordan, to the cockpit to fly this plane over Tampa Bay and cruising over Carolina, then following past Atlanta's scenery and flying right into the division. What do you call it? First. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think I'm great. I don't even like. I'm so happy we're not reliant on the draft and that we have been picking up actually some smaller key players that are fulfilling some of our dead weight in the defense that we have traded away so much of to the Falcons. So we are filling that back weight up. But I'm excited for an aggressive offense again. And yeah, that's what we're seeing here from the flight of Dennis Allen, the Saints.
Love that for you. I do think you guys are the best team in that division right now, so go you.
Yeah.
Making moves. All right, Tina, how are you feeling about your Broncos?
Well, I jumped on the bandwagon last summer and I got my ass kicked. So I actually was I thought free agency went pretty well for us. I mean, the biggest issue I had all year was my line every game was, our offensive line is offensive right now. So picking up McGlinchey and picking up Powers and then a few other guys, I was very, very happy with. Here's a little tidbit for you. So the Bears were also trying to get both McGlinchey and Powers, and they took them to us. Both of them.
Haha.
And the Bears had more money. Just one of those. So yeah, I think it was really good. I also do think I'm still a little on the fence. I'm still kind of like, you got to prove it to me, Sean. But I did go out and buy a visor just in case. Because I know you love visors.
Love that. That's amazing. That was perfect. Yes.
I from what I'm seeing, I think well, there's so many stories that came out prior to for free agency and everything with what's going on. So let's just see what's going on. I do like Zach Allen coming in. I think he's a cheaper Draymond Jones, but I'm also happy that Draymond got paid by Seattle because he was he's a good player. My biggest one that I really, really liked was Alex Singleton. He came in on a 1-year contract. He proved that he was worthy of the contract, and he got signed. He had a team high 163 tackles. So for me, free agencies turned out pretty well. There's some funny ones in there, like Stidham coming over from the Raiders. A lot of the trades and a lot of the free agency stuff I'm seeing, you definitely can kind of see Sean Payton's hands in that. Like, I think he's going to turn us into a run hard, run heavy first division, which that's why they picked up Perrine, because we don't know if Javante is coming back or not. They say he's on that he's on the path to coming back, but they don't know. He really, really messed up his knee, like ACL.
That's wild, because he's so good too.
Yeah, he's really good. I was glad. I was a little sad to see Mike Boone get traded, but hey, if he can do something somewhere, go for it. So, yeah, Sean Peyton Manning, all of that. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, that's what the team ownership said that they came in when they were coming in. They were going to come in and they're going to spend some money, and they spent some money in free agency. So, yeah. But we had to, and because we have no picks in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So like,
literally none.
No choice.
Yeah. I know.
Go ahead, Ash.
Talking about that earlier, I'm like, do you guys have a first round pick? I'm like, oh no, you don't have a first round. And then I'm like, do you have a second round? And then I'm looking, I'm like, no, don't have one of those either. I'm like, we have a third, right? And then you have like 2 back-to-back thirds. I'm like, well,
67 and 68. Yeah, those are the quickest ones we get. So yeah.
You definitely needed to.
We traded them away to get Russ, and then I forget who we pulled over. It's that San Francisco Miami trade where we sent Chubb and they sent somebody to San Francisco, and our thing went to San Francisco. So yeah, we had no choice. We had to do what we had to do. So
your team's excited. I'm excited. I'm actually like,
we're going to ride that horse to the head of the division.
Yes. Your division's such a hard one. That's rough. I will not.
No, let's ride. Just no.
The let's ride stuff last year was my favorite. I said it far too often. And then it started just talking to my brother-in-law all the time and being like, let's cry, bud, let's cry, because you guys are bad. That's some sad stuff going on over there. Yeah. That's exciting. For once in my life, I feel like the Cowboys are doing well during the off-season free agency period. Tagging Pollard I kept saying, we pay Donovan Wilson. Please just pay Donovan Wilson. And then they did. So that was exciting. LVE got
lose somebody. It was paperwork.
It
Is it
was
Schultz?
it was probably Donovan Wilson. I don't remember last year we had that Randy Gregory situation.
That man has to step up.
Yeah, so we had that Randy Gregory situation where everyone said he signed with us, and then it was like, no, he didn't
No, I
actually
didn't.
sign with us, and I was very upset about it. The way it played out, I'm okay with it, but I thought we were gonna have a Donovan Wilson situation like that because it seemed like everybody within the organization, all the bloggers, all the insiders were saying like, oh, Donovan Wilson's like done. Like this it's a matter of like signing the paperwork and moving on. And then like a week later, it was like he's gone. Donovan Wilson's gone. I'm like, why pump the brakes? You said. And then it ended up being okay, thank God, because our secondary is so trash. Like we cannot. Like everyone that's on our defense just needs to stay there, except for Anthony Brown. That man can get lost. We also paid LVE, who had a really good year, so I was excited for that. He's not like the flashiest player ever, but he's good enough. Especially with all the injuries he's had. I'm excited that he had a good year. Stephon Gilmore, like that was the most exciting thing that ever happened to me. I was pumped for that. Signing Brandon Cooks, I was the most excited human being on the face of the earth when that happened because I was screaming all season that Noah Brown cannot be it, that we need a wide receiver help so bad. So when we signed Brandon Cooks, I was pumped. Dude's a stud, 1,000-yard seasons with very mediocre quarterback. So I think he'll be great. He's already talking about like how he's excited. I was a little like, please don't be a diva because you've always been the guy on your team and come in and think you're going to be the guy here. But he already said that he's like just happy to add value and do whatever he needs to do to make our team successful. So I'm super excited about that. OBJ was connected to us a lot, and I was like, no, because I think he's going to get overpaid, and yuck. I don't like that. So I'm super excited about that. Really, the most depressing thing has been Zeke getting released for us. I know it was time, but it's just depressing because Zeke's been great for us, and it's the Dallas Cowboys' fault that Zeke has as big of a drop off as he did because we pounded that man into the ground big time. So overall, I'm pretty happy. I joke around a lot that like Jerry Jones was in his yacht in the middle of the ocean and was not going to do anything because he didn't have cell phone service. And then we started doing a lot of stuff, and I was super happy for us. I also love that the Giants have lost a lot. Or not the Giants, the Eagles have lost a lot.
Yeah, they depleted. They got like a balloon.
Well,
so I have
happens after you're in a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you build it up and you get it to that point, and then you get to the Super Bowl and other teams want you. You want to try and go somewhere else. You're gonna lose people. That's just what happens. I mean, it happened to us after, even though we did horrible in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks. It happened with one of our. I'm trying to remember the guy that can't remember his name. That he went the tight end that ended up going to Tampa Bay. We lost him simply because of Julius. God, what's his name? It's late for me. I can tell.
I know we got on way late today.
But yeah, he ended up going to Tampa. He ended up going to Tampa Bay instead because we just could not pay his price tag. We had to let him go. So yeah, that's what happens with teams and that's the reason why the cap becomes important. And all the time, teams and players are trying to figure out how they can structure contracts to keep it within the cap, but also get around the cap. And so there's gonna be cap hits. There's just some players you are not going to be able to keep, or the teams make the decision that, yeah, he's good, but we've had these other guys behind him for the past 3 years. He's cheaper than you are, so we're gonna go with that guy.
It's time to see if he can be that guy. Yeah. DeMarcus Ware's the GOAT. Don't ever.
Wait a minute. Who defamed DeMarcus Ware?
He said Randy Gregory was supposed to be the next DeMarcus Ware. No one can be the next DeMarcus Ware because there's only one.
There will only be one DeMarcus Ware.
I'm obsessed with that man.
So am I. I follow him on every social media.
Yep, me too.
The man smiles, and I practically lose my shit.
Yep. I know somewhere I have a signed DeMarcus
Randy,
Ware.
baby.
I
Randy.
need a DeMarcus Ware signed jersey, and that'll make my life.
Oh, DeMarcus.
Gilmore got. Oh yeah. See, I know I have something signed by him, but it would take me forever to dig it out. I don't remember this because I don't pay attention to what Washington does because they're really not relevant. The Bucks, that Super Bowl run with the Bucks, and they signed literally everybody the next year. That was insane to me because normally teams lose a lot after they go. All right, we're moving on to like the more exciting.
The thing everybody wants us to talk about.
The thing you've been waiting about that I've been putting off because I said before that I would not speak this man's name all offseason until he signed with a team. And here I am going back on my word. So,
well, I can say his name. That way you don't have to.
Go for it.
Okay. We're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers. Mr. I'm going to go into the forest and
the darkness.
Take some shit and be in the darkness and figure this all out.
Ayahuasca.
It's a very simple thing. Very, very simple. Jets brought over Hackett because Hackett's system doesn't work if he doesn't have Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Broncos proved that. Also, Hackett was way, way, way over his head. And the rest of the team. I mean, there were so many rookie coaches on that team. It's not even funny. I was for it in the beginning because I was like, okay, here's the experiment. Let's go for it. But Hackett didn't work out. Okay, Hackett needs Aaron Rodgers. So it's simply going to come down to the Jets are going to have to give Green Bay everything they want in order to get Aaron Rodgers to come over. No one, ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's honestly, I think it's going to bankrupt the Jets. The Jets are going to be in a situation where it's a boom or bust to get Aaron to come over. It's going to be, okay, we're going to have to win in the next 2 years, or we're going to be back in the bottom of the pile again and having to redo everything from the beginning. I think it'll happen. It's just getting the Jets and the Packers to come to the agreement on it. It has nothing to do with Aaron. Aaron gave him his list. Lazard going there, Hackett going there, all of that stuff. It's all designed to make that system work. So
yeah, I think the Jets are going to do whatever they need to do to make Rodgers happy. And Rodgers already said he wants to go there, so it's just a matter of like when it's going to happen.
The teams have got to work.
I just don't understand why it hasn't happened yet. Like it's been weeks. Like how have you not figured out what needs to happen?
Green Bay wants the sun and the moon and the stars. They have the.
They're gonna have to figure it out before the draft, though. You're like, we got like 20 days.
Figure it out before the draft. They have to figure it out before June 1st.
Well, if they want draft picks from this year, or can that not happen?
I hope that they hold out until after the draft. That'd be just great because then if something else happens, it might change some things.
But Green Bay holds all the cards in this situation.
Yeah.
Because Aaron has said, I want to go to the Jets. He's made it very public. There's all these stories out there about all this stuff, like they're getting close and blah, 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 blah. No, if Pat McAfee hasn't broken it, it's not happening. That's all just you pissing in the wind and trying to come up with an idea to get clickbait and have people look at your stories on social media. So they hold all the cards. It could be draft picks. I don't think it's draft picks. I think it's money. I really think it's coming down to money.
The cheese tax. The cheese tax.
Don't get that song in my head.
It's the cheese tax.
If you haven't heard the cheese tax, I don't suggest looking it up, but
Green
you can
Bay.
on your own.
Well, they are also cheese heads, so maybe it is the cheese tax.
Nicole, look at you making connections.
Always cheese tax.
It's just I forget where it all stops. I forget what the deadline is. Like it's not June. I think it might be June 1st.
I think it's June 1st. I think
that's the point where if they don't come to a deal by then, he's with Green Bay.
Which then he retires. He doesn't play for them.
Well, he's under contract.
He's gonna retire.
Well, or he could pull a Brady he could retire, file, and then the next week resign with the Jets.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
That'd be. Want to talk about Aaron Rodgers being drama? That'll be the most
He's
dramatic
gonna-
Oh,
thing.
he's been drama mama for a while.
coming out of the hole that he was in.
The
Came
hole
out
in the
of
woods
Yeah.
with his ayahuasca, and yeah, I think if Aaron Rodgers goes to Jets, they win the Super Bowl. That's just me. That team is so good, and all they need is a quarterback. I mean, you have the defensive rookie of the year, the offensive rookie of the year. Breece Hall could have been offensive rookie of the year if he didn't get hurt. That team is stacked. I really like the Jets. It's unfortunate that Aaron Rodgers will be the one when he goes there, and if they make it that far, to get them that far, because that's just annoying. Why couldn't it be anybody else?
Well, to answer this question, Aaron Rodgers making another coach look good, but everybody blames Rodgers because he's a diva that hasn't completely backed up his diva behavior. He is a damn good player. Never question that.
Mhm.
But he's been to Super Bowls. Has he won? I don't remember.
He has one,
Maybe one. But
I could be wrong.
It's just, it's the same thing a lot of people said about Russ. Now, Russ wasn't backing anything up. So the crap he was doing in social media with the Let's Ride and all this other stuff that he was doing.
Mr. Unlimited.
Yes, all of that. Showing up in his Hummer and all that stuff. Okay, that's Aaron. Aaron is Aaron. And I've never been a fan of the guy. So.
No, I don't like the Packers. I grew up a Vikings fan, so I'm very anti-Packers. Anything, don't like any of them. I knew he had a bad. I knew he had a bad record in the championship games, though, because that's what a lot of people give him crap for. Like, you can't even get to the big one because you always drop it, and
he shits the bed
the game right before.
Yeah. Or he gets there really close. All they need to do is win one game, and no, he's just gone. So
I don't like Russ either because I really don't like the Seahawks either. But Aaron Rodgers is extremely talented. I think he's arrogant and annoying, and I mean, there's a reason everyone kind of has like a ick about him because it's just how he presents himself is just icky to me. But he's super talented. I mean, back-to-back MVP, you can't really argue. Sydney loves Aaron Rodgers, so it's really. We'll argue it all day. We'll be here all night if we're going to argue Aaron Rodgers' character up in here. Packers have drafted a total of 0 wide receivers, running backs, tight ends in the first round. We know. Okay, thank you. Fun fact. Not fun. The Packers don't do anything to help Aaron Rodgers out. They just think Aaron Rodgers is going to be that guy that can make it work because it's Aaron Rodgers. And if they would have helped him out, he probably would have a lot more rings. But
yeah.
What do you do?
I mean, it's going to something that we'll talk about also in the next thing about where Aaron Rodgers and the team, he asked for things and the team didn't do anything. Yeah. So I get where some of his frustration with the team is. Because if I'm telling you, I need help, I need these guys, you need to help me out, where you're giving away all my weapons and you're not replacing them. I get that. But it's gone beyond that. It's gone into TO level story and like talking to the media and all that. It's just gone beyond what is something going on, and everybody's speculating about what's going on. And like I said, it comes down to Green Bay is going to have to get what they want. Yeah. They're not giving him up without appropriate. The fact that the deal hasn't happened, it means that they're considering his value to be higher than what the Jets are considering his value to be.
Yeah. The Jets, though, are at Green Bay's mercy because the Jets are absolutely screwed if they don't get Aaron Rodgers. They put all their eggs in that basket, and it has to work out for them.
Zach Wilson cannot do Hackett's system.
Zach Wilson 100%. Can't do anybody's system. That guy's absolutely terrible. That guy's trash. Yeah. He's not even like a viable backup at this point. I really wanted him to be good because the moms, but he is not good. This is actually a really funny comment though, Cindy. I'll give you that. That was funny. Can't get him weapons.
Yeah.
Can't trade him when he has to be traded. They can't do anything. The Packers do stink, and I love that for them. I do not like them. Who's so great, Aaron's why can't he win?
You know who's
All
also going to be
that.
upset if it doesn't happen? All the Bear fans, because they're all like, "Yeah, he's gone."
Yeah.
Bears and Bears and Lions fans, I don't know. That division is actually very interesting because they lose Aaron Rodgers, they're now at the bottom, which that's normally they're not at the bottom, so that's gonna be a humbling experience for them. I think I'm super excited about the Lions, and I'm really excited for Justin Fields. I really liked Justin Fields last year. I was like, oh my god, this guy is so fun to watch. He's amazing. Like they put anybody around him, this team's gonna be good. So I'm excited to see what they do
They're
too.
gonna fix their offensive line.
Yeah, that line's so bad.
It's
bad.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's why they were going hard. And like I said earlier, like they wanted McGlinchey was on there and Powers was on there. There was a few other guys they were going after. And it came down to money isn't always the issue. So, though I'm not going to lie, those two got paid by us a lot.
Money talks if you're a good salesman.
We're not about to make points with Brady. That's yucky. We don't do that here.
What season is this? No, I'm kidding.
I thought he was dead. Or was that just selective hearing on my
He
part?
doesn't belong here.
This is a new era.
He's retired.
This is a different show. I think you're talking to the wrong people about Brady.
Instead of Out of the Pocket, it should be called the No Brady Talk Show.
We don't do that here.
I'm gonna get it from somebody.
Yeah, we're gonna move on before we get the DMs. The last quarterback we're gonna talk about, which is
the big boy,
one that is not as talented and is super overrated, is Lamar Jackson, the running back who wants to get a lot of guaranteed money that no one's willing to pay him.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been an interesting situation. Last year, I was like, there's zero chance that Lamar ever leaves the Ravens. Like, Lamar is going to play for the Ravens for the entirety of his career. Like, he is their franchise. Like, that's it. And then now this offseason has changed my perspective on that because his mama can't get him a deal done and no one wants to pay him. And he's just kind of in this weird situation now where I don't think he can sign with the Ravens because that's like weird now, but no one else wants him either. So I don't know what he's going to do.
I think he'll end up with the Ravens. I think he will end up with the Ravens. With the 1 year contract, he'll get the $32 million, and then he's got a 1 year franchise tag.
You think there's a chance he sits out, or is he going to play?
Because honestly, I think there's a lot of things going on with this. I think there is a little collusion going on with the owners because they do not want another Watson contract like that one. Mm-hmm. So I do think that's the issue there. But I think the bigger issue is, and it's kind of started coming out with a lot of people talking about this, is the Ravens want the other teams to do their job for them. Mm-hmm. They want the other teams to come to us because they tried negotiating. It didn't work. He said, no, I'm not doing this. We're not talking about it during the year. And so they franchise tagged him because franchise tag him. He didn't get an exclusive. He got the non-exclusive. Mm-hmm. So team comes to them with an offer. They have a shot to say, yeah, we'll match, or no, and they automatically get 2 first-round picks. That's easy math. But none of the other teams that need quarterbacks, I think one can afford to give up the 2 first-round picks right now. Because let's think who needs a quarterback. Like Indy, though they just got somebody, I forget who, went into Indy. You look at all the teams that need a good quarterback of his level. I think he's a little overhyped, but I think he's a little better than what you do, Ash. But that's a difference of opinion.
I live in a house with Steelers fans.
Yeah.
The Ravens are terrible.
Oh, I know. Yeah, the Ratbird. I have a friend who's from Cleveland, and to this day, I still call them the Ratbirds. Also, what I think is can make this situation very interesting if he does end up staying with the Ravens, is that I like that he wants to change things. He doesn't want an agent. He wants to negotiate his own contracts, and he's trying to do something that's better for him. And I'm all for that. But here's the bad situation of this, is that the point of having an agent is it creates the buffer or the idea of a shield between the player wanting more money and the team in the negotiation. The agent can take on all the bad feelings and all of the crap that comes out during negotiations and say, I'm the one that's the fault. I'm sparing you of this. His mom and him negotiating directly with the team, if he ends up playing for them, if he doesn't sit out, is going to create there's going to be some bad blood in that situation. And I don't know what the answer is, though, because I honestly don't think anyone's going to, like I said, no one wants to do the Ravens' job. They're not, the Ravens gave him their offer. He said no. They went back and forth. He said no. Whether a lot of people are saying he wants guaranteed money, all this stuff. I'm hearing things back and forth on that, which to me, that's talking heads on both sides.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Each side has their talking heads in the media that they talk about what they want to get out in the media. I just don't, it's so bad. Because I do think he's talented for the right team. And I think he can go places. I just don't know what the solution is.
Yeah, I just don't know where he goes.
Like I said, I think he's going to end up at the Ravens again. He's either going to have to take their tag and play 1 year and get $32 million for the year, and then he can go wherever he wants to go. Or he sits out.
Which I don't think is beneficial for him either. I don't know. I think Lamar bet on himself and it didn't work. Like, it just didn't work.
The sitting out last time didn't work.
He blasts out on social media like, I'm willing to take a trade.
Yeah.
Well,
the way the business has been handled is not great, in my opinion.
Well, that also tells me, like, none of the other teams are talking to his people. And then the NFL comes out and says, no one can talk to this guy about, I forget who it was. There was a guy
agent.
His agent. And they're like, no. And then Lamar comes out and says, no, that guy has nothing to do with me. So there's
so messy.
It looks bad. All of it just looks bad because there's a little collusion. There's some money involved. There's a good player that should be going somewhere else. It's just so bad. And I just want to be like, dude, get a good PR person. If you're not going to have an agent and you want to do this, you need a really good PR person. And I hate to say it, family should never be involved in this stuff because it's a business. It's a big business, and they got some really big lawyers on their side.
Well, even if you take it, like, you can't take it personally for any of, like, you know, the deals that do go down and stuff like that. When you are the front person, you have to take yourself out of it. And laying it out on Twitter, like, certain things that are agents for a reason, because they do take things personally. They don't air things out to, like, kind of fire whatever, gaslight sometimes, you know. It's hard to say, being like, you know, I want to talk about and being like, this is, if he thinks that this is a deal, that's good for him. But it's hard when it's out there. Like,
Free Lamar. I'm looking. I agree. I 100% want Lamar to go to a good team, but he's too connected to the situation. And get your money. I'm all for players getting their money. Like, the way the league is now, 5 years, you could be hurt and you could be out the next year. So I understand why he was wanting some guaranteed money and things like that. But you need the buffer in there because you need the person in the middle to be like, okay, yeah, this is, and I'm not saying that this is the way it should be for everybody, but if you're going to go
Mhm.
out on your own, you have to think about it as a business, and you don't do things like tweeting during the owners meeting, hey guys, I'm looking for a trade. I
That
know
was
why
so
you did
shady.
it. I know why you did it because he
Mhm.
wasn't hearing anything and he wanted to let people know that he wants a trade. But they still got to go back to the Ravens. I keep wanting to say the Ravens.
Yeah.
Like
Foreshadowing. No, I'm
if
kidding.
I knew it, I'd be shaking him, being like, dude, no.
Yeah, come on now. Yeah, it's
Like,
just it started with like them tagging him, and I think the Ravens being like, go find what you can get, because you think you can get a lot more than what you're worth, and then no one offered anything, and it's kind of like the Ravens are sitting there like, told you, like I don't know what you thought was gonna happen, and
yeah.
then requesting a trade, and still
Yeah.
no one wants you. I don't know,
Yeah,
but I
there's
did,
pros and cons on each side of this
yeah.
situation. No one's right and no one's wrong.
Mm-mm.
It's
No, I
it,
think he's talented. It's just,
it's just playing out badly in
yeah,
social media because it just looks bad.
yeah.
And whichever side of the issue you're on,
Mm-hmm.
I 100% think the Ravens look bad with some of it, and I also think there's some of the things that he's done that um but I
They're not
also
great.
think like I think what's also hurting him is he gets injured 4 games before the playoffs and he doesn't finish out the season. And that just goes to the thing again. He gets injured. He's not
Mhm.
able to bring them across the line to get what
Mhm.
they need. And so I don't
And
I,
it's interesting because he got injured and then he was supposed to be back 2 weeks later, and then we got like 4 or 5 weeks into
Yeah.
it, and we're
and he
like, are
chose
you
to
still
not.
hurt, or are you
Yeah.
choosing to not play because you're sitting out? Like, I
Yeah.
don't understand the situation here. So I think that was a bad look for him too, though, because teams are looking at you like, how many games have you missed already? And you run a lot, which is just more prone to injury in the first place. And it's like, I don't know. Cindy and I were talking though. We saw, well, he had mentioned, and I saw that Mac Jones was being shopped out. So like, if the Patriots wanted to get Lamar, that would be really interesting.
I don't think
Um,
he'd work well with Belichick.
that's my thought. I was like, I don't
That'd be
know
interesting.
how. That would be crazy though, and it would also,
Mhm.
I don't know, that'd be crazy. I don't know where else he goes really. I don't think he has very many options. I don't think he doesn't have as many options as I think he thought he was going to have, and he's not going to get the money that he wants. And I'll
Well,
be interested to
yeah,
see
I
if he
mean,
plays on the tag or sits out and tries. I don't know.
And a lot of people already picked their partner for the dance.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
another. There's
And
like
the
teams that
teams that
needed
are left
quarterbacks.
over can't afford
Mm-hmm.
the type of contract that I believe he wants, which is a
Or
very
the
backloaded contract, like guaranteed money, incentive laden in the end, essentially where you're renegotiating it in 2-3 years because you're going to take a huge hit at that time on your cap. And so there's not that many teams out there that can afford that kind of money up front or in the back. So,
Yeah.
and that was one of the things I was in leading into this point. We kind of talked about this earlier, but I think it's true too. Is we're seeing more and more of these 2-3 year contracts that are very back laden, and essentially the both sides are going to have to renegotiate. You don't see 5, 6, 7, 8 year extensions anymore. You see 2-3 years. And I think it works for both parties. One, it works for the owners and the team because in 2 or 3 years, they're not going to have that huge cap hit, or they're not going to have to go back to that player. And I said I wouldn't talk about Brady again, but I have to. And see if that star player will renegotiate the contract and take less money, so there isn't as much of a hit on the cap. But the thing that also this allows is it allows that player to get a second payday faster. So, like, I'll use Draymond Jones. Like, he got a good contract out of Seattle. Again, it's only 2 or 3 years. It's not much more than what the Broncos were offering him. But in 2 to 3 years, he gets to go back to the negotiation table. He has 2 to 3 years to prove his worth, go back to the negotiating table and say, hey, pay me again.
Yeah.
And
Look how good
so
I did.
they're getting, it's going to drive prices up. That's the one thing I think will happen is you'll start seeing, but you're seeing these contracts in the areas we didn't used to see it anymore. It's not wide receivers and running backs anymore. It's defensive linemen. It's offensive linemen. It's those positions that you're now seeing teams have more value in. And I think that's an interesting little trend to watch because it's cyclical. It'll go for a long time. Like it's running backs and wide receivers will then come back up to the top again. And you need these guys anymore because but with the changes, some of the changes they've been making, like with regards to the defense and wanting the offense to be more, offensive guards, offensive lines are becoming extremely, extremely important. So just a little bit of my nerdy little
no, because it seems like
part of it.
it happens where like the offensive line, everyone, I mean, I could name a handful of teams right now that have terrible offensive lines and like stud skill position players, and then the exact opposite for other teams. So just where you put your value in.
Right. Yeah. Like if you're going to sit back there, kind of like with Justin Fields, if you're going to sit back there and have to hold the ball a little bit longer, you need a really good offensive line. If you have a guy that's quick and get off and you can throw to your wide receivers or throw to your running back that's on a slant going through, then you don't need them as much.
If you're the Bengals, you don't think you need an offensive line ever.
Yeah. Poor Joe. He's just gonna get
poor guy. He's got about 2 more years of his career
but
before
he's
it's over.
talented, so he can
get away with it a little bit. Yeah.
He's a little squeaker.
Yeah. So but I think the draft is going to settle some of these questions that are going out there because they're going to be able to figure out like which guys are they going to be able to pull in right away and which guys they're not going to be able to pull in right away. So then the free agency market will start to heat back up again. Because like I said, I think it's June where that's where you need, unless they're free, like if they've left the team, like they've been cut from the team, then they can sign whenever they want. But if they're under contract with that team in free agency, then by June 1st, they have to have a contract in place or they're going back to that team.
Man.
The team has to pay them whatever is due under their contract for that year. So
they said dating was hard. Like this that's what I mean. It's like there's so much that dependent on these moves and strategy in the contract for, massaging them into being better even. Yeah.
It's out and out business now. And I think a lot of the fans, especially a lot of the older fans, don't like that part of it because they're used to people being with the team for 15, 20
loyalty,
years. The loyalty issue. And the answer to that is the owners aren't necessarily loyal to the players anymore.
Exactly. Like the players are starting to treat it like a business too, and now you don't like it.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Like
I can see that
if
changing.
it's a business to you, it's gotta be a business. It's gotta be a business on their side too. And that's the point. So they're there to get money too and to get paid because this isn't a job that anybody can do. You can't just have somebody walk off the street, though most fans think they could.
Love that for them. So delusional.
And then the other issues that we have talked about in the past, like injuries and what happens and like all those things that pop in.
Play a factor in that. Yeah. All right, so it's been good. We've been out here a long time.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. And it's really late for the people that are in different time zones than me because it's late for me. So we're going to get off of here. Thank you, everybody who's been watching, though. Super exciting stuff. You guys have been amazing in the comments. We appreciate y'all stopping by and hanging out with us. This one was long, but Normally, I feel like
Well,
we haven't been on for a long
pollarded-
time, so I had a lot
Yeah.
to say. Okay.
We pollarded in this one. We
Yes.
hacked off
Yes.
a bunch of branches, and we'll make it a little bit more streamlined.
Yeah.
That is my new vocabulary word for the rest of forever. So that's amazing.
I'm gonna have fun
Oh,
throwing that into a conversation.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm just gonna slip that into any conversation I possibly can now.
I'm
Watch it
surprised
all.
he's
You
gone.
did, Sean. I'm surprised. Yeah, because it is
I'm
late
surprised he
for
didn't
you.
pop in at some point. But he'll
Yeah.
pop in
Just
now.
come in. I know. He messaged me. He's like, "Oh, y'all are going on." I'm like, "Yeah, my bad. Probably should have told you that was happening, but here we are." No, it's funny. We were supposed to be here last week, but I messed that up, so I apologize for that. But we're out of here. Thank you for
Yep.
watching.
Yes.
See you next time. Bye.
Done.
Done.